Welcome to another edition of the Black Male Podcast. I am your host, AP, and today's show is going to be on the term and the subject of dating. Now, dating has a big, broad spectrum and a long term, depending on who and what is around that. Now, when you think about dating, you have the typical idea that you have two people that come together and they want to have something, lasting or something that they have for the moment. But the idea about dating is much deeper than that. Sometimes when we come to a point in our lives when we feel that we want to have someone or we want to have something with that person, we have this idea of a courtship. We have something we can be very sociable with that person. And sometimes it will lead to other things such as, leading to the square. Do you don't know what the square means? The square exists in everyone's bedroom, and sometimes the square is somewhere else. So that's what that is. But the idea behind dating is very simple, but it lends to a deeper, broader explanation and an understanding for that. For us to get to a point of where we're dating, and when we get to that point where we want to date someone, we first have to look at, options and scenarios and situations of where we are. Sometimes we want to date people because we see somebody that we like, or we see something that they have, or we see where they are and we want to share that life with them. Part of sharing the life with them is, there's going to be ups and downs when it comes with that. We need to know and understand that. But also is more just to get to know someone on a deeper, more intrinsic level. So I'm going to start today's show with the term and the definition of dating. And the dictionary defines dating as, in general, it refers to a stage of romantic relationships where two individuals regularly engage in activities together, often with the intention of evaluating each other's suitability as potential partners in a future intimate relationship. So basically what that definition is just says that you are looking at someone and you have the intentions of having something deeper and meaningful with them, and you will go through different things such as a courtship and going on dates and things like that to better understand this person. And now we live in a day and age right now where a lot of people want to do something so fast, so quick, and they have no grounds of understanding, no grounds of being together, or even any grounds of having anything with that person. And that's where a lot of things go wrong. We also live in a time and an age where social media has blinded people or jaded some people to the fact and idea that you have to understand that we are not perfect people. And I need to know that there's going to be flaws with someone. And if I'm going to accept this person, or I'm going to have something with this person, I got to accept the good with the bad, because they're going to intertwine with one another. Also, that person has to accept the good and bad for me as well, because like I said, no one is perfect. But the idea that people have, and they come with these mantras that they want to have something with someone and that they want to have it in a perfect situation. It never turns out that way. All it turns out to be is a bunch of heartache, a bunch of hardships, and a bunch of other foolishness that will lead to it, right? Sometimes 1 + 1 = 3 if that dating situation doesn't turn around. If you know what that means, is 1 + 1 = 3. That means you have a child that is produced from that. Some people, if you are not in a heterosexual relationship, some people that are same-sex relationship, they have the same thing, because people are people. It doesn't matter who you are or who you love. You're a human, and you're going to love people the way that you're going to love, but you're going to love them based on the love that you know and understand from you and what you've been taught. And I don't think people really understand that the love that comes from them is a love that has been sown in them from some place before. Now, with knowing and understanding that love that has been sown in them, they then, with their experiences, they have different types of relationships. And then when they get to the courtship part of the dating process, which a courtship a courtship situation is something that has been diluted, and it's also minute in now times. The courtship part of this dating is very important. I need to know who I'm with. I also need to know what type of person you are. I need to know if we're going to vibe and we're going to gel correctly. Now, I did an earlier show a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about the honeymoon phase, and that people think that the honeymoon phase is just particular to being married. But a honeymoon phase is anytime you have something new, there's a newness to everything, right? It's new. I have new experiences. I have new examples. I have a newfound friendship. I have a newfound something. But with having that newness, I need to understand that some people have this thought process that I'm just waiting for something bad to happen because something this good cannot be true. But you have to give yourself the opportunity to go through that experience. And that's the part of dating where people don't get. They don't get and understand that dating is like gambling, right? I'm gambling on this person and myself that if we're going to be a perfect fit, or not just a perfect fit in the term and the idea of being perfect, but are we going to gel together? Are we going to have a unique oneness with each other? Because my good and my bad are going to blend with this person's good and this person's bad. And we're going to see if this thing is going to work out. Most times people, when they don't have that, they only dating each other for a little bit. They're only together for a little bit. And next thing you know, it crumbles and it falls. And a lot of times when it crumbles and falls, they have a lot of hard lessons that they learn. Now, with learning those hard lessons, can they pick themselves up, or can they then move forward and do something and have a different type of relationship of intimacy, or a different type of friendship, or a different partnership with another person? Because each and every experience we have with someone is going to be an experience, or it's going to be a life lesson. And most times the hardest life lessons are the one that it takes for you to sit there, listen, learn, but to absorb what is going on. Because you can learn more when things go wrong, especially in a relationship. That way you can have a better understanding of where people are, or the type of person that I'm around, or even myself. Now, I can't come into a relationship and think that I know everything and that I have it all together, because we don't. No one comes into a relationship and thinks that they have everything together and have it all together. Now, you can be dressed real good, you can smell real good, you can look real good, you can get yourself made up, you can wear the nicest clothes, you can have the nicest shoes, you can have the nicest house, the nicest car. But these are all material things that people are attracted to. And with these material things that people are attracted to, there's no grounds or no understanding of who you really are. Sometimes people will do those things as a result of a situation that they just got out of. How many of us have heard or been around someone that as soon as they get out of something, such as a bad relationship, or they are just recently divorced or something like that, and they say, I'm living my best life now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something now. I want to do something for myself because the person I was with didn't want to have those things with me. Here's a key thing to dating someone. When you first meet someone and that newness fades, you have to understand people are going to change based on that relationship. No person is going to stay the same throughout the entirety of that relationship. I get older, you get older. We have different experiences together. We're going to have different experiences individually, but I need to know that. I need to respect that. With knowing and respecting that, I have to know that every time or every day is a new day. I can't come around and I can't say that, okay, you're changing, you're being different, or something else is going on. I have to really dig deep and see what's really going on. Because if this thing really matters to me, and if there's some things that I really want out of this, then I'm going to put the work into it, right? I just recently read a book, and it was called The 12 Laws of the Universe. And some of those laws of the universe, the basic principle of that is that we have these things that are all around us, right? We innately have things that are around us that, of course, like air, that we can't see, but we can feel. It's all about a vibration thing and about energy. You know, when we were created a long time ago, we were created from the Big Bang. You know, this particle dust that we have, and I don't want to get too philosophical or too scientific, but it all plays into the same part. Knowing and understanding that energy and vibration allows me to be around people, and that I'm drawn to certain people based on that from a law of attraction, because what I am and who I am, I'm going to attract certain people around me. You ever been around someone and they continuously have the same type of people that they date because of where they are? And then sometimes they feel like they're not in a space where they can really get someone that really knows and understands them, but they're in a spot where they have something that they feel tangible. Now, when that tangibility fades and some things go wrong, then they have the woe is me, or I knew this was going to happen and I knew you were no good and all this other stuff, but that's not fair to the other person, because I have to know and understand that that person's going to change based on things that happen in that person's life. See, we're two individual people that come together to create one whole. And there's no such thing as a 50-50 split. Okay. There's no such thing as something that we're going to be equal to this. So I'm going to be equal with someone because I'm going to be equal with my faults and also my good traits. That's what makes us equal. Sometimes I can be up and sometimes I can be down. Sometimes you can be up and you can be down. But I need to know if we're building something and if we have something, that is a tangible part of being with someone. And as far as dating someone, that is missed, it's lacked. A lot of people don't want to realize and understand that because a lot of people don't want to take accountability for the things that go wrong or the things that go right in a situation. They want to say things are done by their hand. They want to say that things are done because they put the effort. No, we put the effort into this. It's a we over me thing. If I am with someone, I need to know it is us together. And I need to have someone that's going to not just submit, because I have submitted myself in this situation, that I am vulnerable to things that may happen that are great and that are bad. But some people are not aligned with themselves to know and understand that that vulnerability makes me more human in this human experience that I have, but also for me to know that I am going to be okay no matter what happens. I need to take the time to build with this person. I need to take the time to know and understand. That's why it's so important for us to take our time when we first meet someone and not be in a rush to do so many things. Sometimes people want to rush and do things because they want to get to certain things, to have certain things, to hold on to it. Because either they never had that before, or because this newness is something that's kind of scary to them, or it's something that they will marvel at. And with something that brings people together, it's something that's innate. Sometimes opposites attract, but sometimes with those opposites, they last longer than people that have things that are shared interests. Now, I can have a shared interest with someone, but that doesn't mean that I stop pouring into this thing. I stop pouring into what I have. That's like working at a job and going to the bank at any time and you having no money in the bank. There's nothing for you to withdraw from, because sometimes when I need something at my lowest point, or sometimes when I just want to build or pour into something, it's going to be there. Now, sometimes that works for people, and then sometimes it doesn't. And it depends on the complexity of the relationship that people have with the other person, because that other person can probably have fallen out of love with you. And that's a very sad, hard thing when it comes to dating. And it jades people to the idea of being with people. I am convinced in this day and age in 2025 that more people want what's right now as opposed to what's right. What feels right, what looks right, what is right, what's going to sustain me, and what's going to grant me everlasting peace. Because if something doesn't work for me, I need to know that. I need to know where I am. I need to know where I'm going, but I also need to know what I have. And some people would like to think that they have the greatest, best thing, and that's going to work for you, because somebody is everyone 10. You're a 10 to someone. Doesn't matter what you look like. Don't matter what you smell like. Don't matter what you have. Somebody's going to see something within you and they're going to be drawn to you. That's a law of attraction, right? I'm going to manifest based on the energy that I put out, and the type of person that I am and the energy that I put out. That's what's going to come back to me. Have you ever seen, and I'm going to use this example because I love examples, on social media where there's a lot of people that come and they have all these relationship tips. I mean, everybody grabs a mic and they're the latest, greatest thing, and they do things for likes and clickbait as opposed to doing something to be informative and educate people. So I'm going to get on a social media platform and I'm going to tell people about certain things, and all women ain't this and all men ain't this. No, let's look at myself, because when I wake up in the morning, that person that I see is a person I have to live with, whether somebody's with me or not. And if I can't take accountability for the things that I have been through or some of the things that I have yet to know and understand about me, how in the world is somebody else that has no idea about me going to be welcoming, understanding, or even cater to the things that are important to me? Now, I say the word cater, that doesn't mean you're going to be second class or you're going to succumb to something else, because we all are going to do that when you're in a relationship or when you're dating with someone, because it's an ultimate compromise. I need to have an ultimate compromise when I'm with someone. I'm going to know that there's going to be things, but I have to have an open level of communication, but trust is more important than anything. The two top tier things of trust and communication are lacking, especially when it's a courtship. You can't find love in a dark and lonely place. You're going to find more despair and you're going to find more misery. You can't find things that are going to last you long, and you look for them in people, or you look for them just to get things done the way that you want. And sometimes we do that. And sometimes there's people that are out there that want that to happen. Case in point, all these social media posts. And these social media posts, they just steer people wrong. And then you see how many likes and how many times it's been shared and everything, because so many people have shared experiences, because they have these shared experiences because I too know that there's somebody that has gone through this, and I maybe have gone through it myself. And because this person says something a certain way, it evoked a certain emotion or feeling that I had about something or someone. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this. That don't make that right. It don't make it more logical to say that that was wrong, because it takes two people. Now, you don't know the person that is posted that if they had something to do with that, because like I said, accountability is a major thing that's missed, and not taken for an honest approach when it comes to being in a relationship or even dating someone. The idea of dating someone is so that you can have something eventually that's lasting in a romantic relationship, as the definition says. But with having that, I need to know more about me, and I need to be open and communicate well. Some of us are not great communicators, and that's the downfall of a lot of our relationships, not just personal, but sometimes our partnerships and sometimes our friendships, because we can't be truthful. Sometimes we lie to ourselves. Sometimes we lie to ourselves about certain things about us because we don't want to admit the harsh reality of maybe we just don't have it all right now. That doesn't mean you're not going to get it. That doesn't mean you're not going to be a space where it's going to be there. But I want to set myself up so that when it comes, I can be prepared, and I'm going to accept it, but I'm going to marvel in its existence. So with me marveling in its existence, I can then be, and I can have a ultimate found peace and comfortability with where I am. But having that means that I there am good inside, because the change comes from within. And if I know and I'm in a place where I can be open to a relationship or open to the thought that I want to be around someone, that's important. But some of us don't want to do that because we've run into a lot of bad situations and a lot of people that have been no good for us. And when I say no good, they have a lot of red flags, as you want to say. Now, a red flag is something that's going to be something that's going to alarm you, or something that doesn't seem right, and that you have to use your intuition, because it might remind you of something that someone else has done to you. Now, let's stop there for a second. A red flag occurs everywhere, right? You're going to use your human intuition when something doesn't feel right, something doesn't look right, and it doesn't make you feel any good about it, right? Now, knowing that those red flags exist, we all have that because we're all human, and that's a humanistic flaw about the way we live our lives. Now, I'm going to do something that may be an alarm to you. That may be a red flag to you, but it may be something that you're either going to learn from, you're going to live from, something you can deal with, but it doesn't mean it's going to be something that is going to be damaging to what we have. Now, if I'm pouring into this and I'm considering to have something with you, and I'm just continuing to have these red flags and things like that, then that's the time when that person has the opportunity to say, you know what, this isn't going to work for me. But that person has to be open and communicate with me. And the way that they communicate that with me is going to be whether I'm going to accept that or whether I'm going to be in a space where I can say, okay, can I live with this or can I deal with this? And we've all been through things like that. The older you get, the more examples and experiences you're going to have that, especially people that have been married for years. Now, I know some people that have been married for a long time, and you can't tell me that they didn't have their share of ups and downs, because no relationship, no marriage is perfect. I think people have the idea that they want to have the perfect thing, the perfect that, the perfect everything. That it doesn't happen that way. We are not perfect people. We want these situations to be perfect because we want to feel right and we want to be protected. And the reason why we want to be protected because we want to be shunned away or sheltered from some of the hardships that we have faced. You know, sometimes people don't really find love until they get to a certain level in a certain stage of their life, after they've gone ahead and they experienced a lot of things, a lot of hardships, and they have to learn that hard life lesson. And then sometimes they can pass that on to the next person, or sometimes they can try to make something different of themselves or make something different of the things that they have. Now, that's great. And those people that they have that, they'll have a better idea and a better relationship. We don't want to just put it on a certain gender. We want to put it on a certain race. We don't want to put it on a certain type, because people are people. You're going to love who you're going to love. You're going to like who you're going to like. Big, short, fat, whatever. It doesn't matter. Love is love. But when you love honestly and openly, it's going to find you. Because I have put that out there, because that law of attraction says whatever I put out and however I am and however I manifest this, it's going to come right back to me. Because that law of attraction is going to work well with the law of action. The law of action says that what is going to be, because I'm going to put and I'm going to pour into some things, and it's going to come out and be the way that I see it, because of the way I have made it. And if I don't want to have certain things a certain way, then it's going to continue to be in that way. I'm going to continue to be like all men or all women or all this or all that ain't no good, or you a dog, or you ain't no good, or you're a B word, or I knew you wasn't that, or I'm going to tell you who has the hardest part. People with children. People with children have the hardest time finding a suitable relationship with someone, because anytime you date someone that has children, there is a side to that you have to know and understand where that person is. You have to know and understand that situation that person currently is living, but also know that that person has children, but they have an alliance also with someone. The idea of having that is you're trying to add to, not take away from. But sometimes we have people, whether they're male or female, and they know that they're dating someone that has children. They want to take everything from them because they don't know the complexity of that relationship that parent has with the other parent, but also with that child. If I'm coming into a situation and I'm dating someone that has children, I need to be open and honest with that person. I know and understand that you have children. I know and understand that that child does come first. I have children myself, and that person that I may be dating or that I would like to date needs to understand it as well. But knowing and understanding that is something that is very important, because that's never going to change. That I'm going to be a parent until the day that I pass away. The other person is going to be a parent until the day that they pass away. They will never stop being a parent, no matter how old that child gets. But knowing and understanding that complexity in that relationship can only profound what you have with that person. And those people that have children, they get a bad rap because some of those people like to put their personal relationship above what they have with their children, and their children feel that. Now, that's not everybody. That's only some people. And a small percentage of certain people that do things gets magnified. You know why? Because it's let me run and tell what this person has done, or let me run and tell how this looks, or let me run and tell what this person did that made it this way. That's not right. That's not okay. When a relationship is great, I want to tell the world, I want to scream it to the mountaintop. But when a relationship isn't doing so well, I want to tell someone, because I need to get these things out of me, because I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know where to put it. Now, we need to be careful when we do that, because some people are just waiting for us to fail because they themselves are not happy in the relationship that they are in. Have you ever seen, and there's movies that are out there that are like this, where you have couples, or even some TV shows where you have couples that come together and they're sharing things. And then sometimes their deepest, darkest secrets, or how that person really is, comes out. That is a pivotal point in their relationship, because either they're going to learn from that, they're going to grow from it, or they're going to continue in the same level of things, because I know this person, right? Or I may not know this person, but I know the experiences that we're having right now are putting us in this particular predicament, right? If I don't do things the way that they need to be, then I'm living my own existence. I'm living my own reality. But when I come together with someone, it's a shared reality. I need to be mutually honest with this person. This person needs to be open and honest with me, because that's the only way that this thing is going to work. If I can be open and honest that, you know what, I'm this, I'm that, and if that person can accept that, then that's great. Part of that acceptance is that I'm not going to be told, or something's not going to be put or laid to me later on about the things that I told you. Now, that's not good. And a lot of times when we are open and honest with people that we're dating, or people that know us, they like to use those things to try to put us down, because they want to one up us. But that doesn't mean that they're better people. That just means that they're not the people that they thought they were. And that ain't good either. Because when I feel pain, I want to hurt people, right? Because hurt people, right? People that are loved, they love people. People that are givers, they give to people. And people that take, they're takers. And that's just the way it is. But that's just the way that you're designed. That's the way you're aligned. That's the way things are. But I need to know and understand that that is very important. So we need to get this idea that I need to know from every perspective, because the law of gender, part of speaking of that 12 laws of the universe, says that whatever it is, it's going to be based on who it's coming from. I need to know and understand the person that I'm with, and I need to understand what makes them up, and I need to understand where they are in their lives. If me at my age right now, I decide to date someone, I need to know and understand everything that they've gone through. I need to know and understand from the conversations that we have who they are and what their goals are, right? I need to be open with that. Of course, people are going to say, well, I really like you. I really feel this. I really dig this, because they're dealing with their feelings and emotions. But feelings and emotions without actions, without trust, and without communications is eventually going to fail. Do you know anybody that's out there that they always just want to be in a rush to have something, just to say, I have somebody, or I love, and all this other stuff? No, what you're doing is you're trying to be comfortable with where you are. Some people don't take the time to be alone. Now, being alone and being lonely is two totally different things, because when you're lonely, you put yourself in situations that are not good for you. But being alone is a good way for you to know and understand yourself. Being alone is a way that you can re-stamp and re-ground yourself, and the fundamentals have a fundamental base of who you are as a person. There's nothing wrong with being alone. There's a problem with being lonely. And the idea of being lonely that a lot of people have is that I just need to be around somebody. I just need to have this. But sometimes when we have that in that space, it only leads us to further heartache and despair. When we're alone, sometimes we can find things that will benefit us. But no one has ever said that I found a lasting relationship, or I found a lasting partnership, or I found happiness because when I was lonely. It's only when they transition from that loneliness to now shake that shell off of that loneliness and then find somebody that they want to be with. And with finding that person that they want to be with, they start the courtship. Now, courtship is very important when it comes to dating. And that courtship will let you know a lot about that person. Courtship will let you know, what that person has as their fundamental and who they are as a person. Now, I'm gonna say this. Courtship is very important. The reason why courtship is important is because we don't take the time to get to know people. We have failed as human beings to be in a rush to just to do things, just to have things, and to say that I have someone. You can have that person, you can think you have that person, but that other person may not see that way with you. You may think that that person has the same ideas and you have the same conversations, or yeah, they go along with the motions. But if I don't have anything that's going to sustain what I have right now, it's going to fall, it's going to crumble, right? I got to have a courtship. We got to be out there. We got to date. We got to go on dates. We got to do those small things. We got to go to a park. We got to sit and talk. We may be on the phone. We may be boo loving on the phone for hours, but it doesn't mean anything because I have to put action behind my intent. My intent is going to be very important. If I don't see that you have a clear intent and I see that there's something going on, that's going to raise a red flag for me. And in the courtship part, you have the idea whether you want to continue it or whether you want to say, well, I'm done with this. I don't need to deal with this. And then I'm going to move on from it. Or we just dated for a little bit, because some people think if I go on a couple of dates, I'm dating this person. No, that technically isn't true. That's just your idea and your version of it, right? I'm dating this person. I'm doing this. We're exclusive. Yeah, you're exclusive to certain things, but you're not exclusive wholeheartedly, because if you're exclusive wholeheartedly, no one else can come into the picture at all. When you're dating someone and you're just into that person knows things about you that a lot of other people don't know, period. You can go out there and you can live a single life and you could be dating someone and you could just be out there enjoying life. That is one form of dating. I want to go out there. I want to have a social interaction with people. I want to go have fun. I want to do things. I want to be out there. I want to have experiences, right? That doesn't mean because we go on a couple of dates that we have a relationship. And that's where a lot of people, they mistake the idea of dating someone. I need to know that this person has the same mutual respect and the same mutual understanding for what we're doing, because a lot of times we don't have that, and it can come from a male or a female. And sometimes when people really want to be with other people, they will do all kind of things and put themselves in situations where they don't need to be in. And then they're setting themselves up for a lot of loss and a lot of heartache in the tail end of that, because they weren't prepared for the other side of that coin, because they put all their eggs in that basket saying, I'm going to be with you. We're going to be together. And that's it. That works only a small percentage of the time. And it only works a small percentage of the time because something within you matched with something within the other person, and you guys are willing and able and want to make it work. You can be in a relationship and not even know this person. You can be in a marriage and not even know this person because you haven't had the opportunity to know and understand that courtship time and that courtship period, and then being social and being out there and doing things that you needed to do to further get to know this person. I'm a big believer in doing that. I'm a big believer in doing the small things, because little things mean a lot. Little things always mean a lot, because if you don't do the little things, those big things mean nothing, right? The shiniest, biggest car don't mean nothing, but without the smallest part, like a spark plug, that car ain't going to be working at all. No automobile is going to work because it has a catalyst to keep it going, right? I need to be flexible in a dating relationship. I need to be vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable too, right? I'm going to be vulnerable to some things that happen, but I need to be open and honest and be flexible to some things that are going to happen within that. But that's going to let me know and understand that I know this person. I'm going to be around this person. This person has some things that I really like. But even with those things that I don't like about this person, I need to be honest with myself and say, is this something that I can live with? Is this something I can deal with? But is this something from this person I can build and grow with together? Can we have a lasting relationship that ultimately will lead to something further based on what we're building right now? And things that are worthwhile always take time. Like I said, some people, they're just in a rush to have certain things, but it doesn't mean it's going to last. Some people, it works well for them, and some people it doesn't, right? Because there's no fixed definition of what dating is, right? It means different things to different people. But I need to know that when I get with somebody, hey, what are you looking for? I'm looking for this. We can go out, we can do that, and sometimes it blooms from there. And sometimes, you can go on a couple of days and be like, I just want to hang out with you. That's it. You're a cool person. You know, situations and things, they develop eventually over time because our feelings and our emotions are attached to them because we're human. We love to have that social and human interaction with other people because that's why we were designed. If you want to go back and think about it biblically, now, Adam wasn't created for Eve. Eve was created for Adam. That's how that works. And when that happened, that was chosen so that Adam would have a mate and they can build from, if you think about it in that aspect. But that is a very, very important part of knowing and understanding and being flexible and knowing that I have somebody or that I'm going to be into somebody or that I currently am into somebody and I want to build something with that person, right? That is very, 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 very important. But I need to evaluate this relationship within that. I need to know if this is going to work for me. I need to know if this person is going to be someone that I want to bring around my family. Oh, that is a loaded one. So let's stop there for a second. When you start dating somebody, there's always that question. And depending on who that person is, they'll show you off. They'll open the door. They'll say, hey, this is who this person is. They'll introduce you to their children. They'll introduce you to their parents. And stuff like, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're dating somebody with kids, if they ever introduce you to their children, you're in better than you think. Number one, if they talk about their kids, you're in better than you think. Even if they say their names, you're in more than you think. Now, depending on what you do with that is up to you. Depending on how you accept that is up to you. But you got to be open and honest with that. But you got to be flexible with their relationship because I said before, you have to know that they're going to be a parent no matter what. And if you are coming to a situation where you have children, the other person also has to know and be flexible and vulnerable to that situation, knowing that you have children. That's very important. That's why a lot of people, they fail. They fail at that. And sometimes people are looking for people to be and to add into something because either they're lacking something or they're missing something or they never had something with someone else. Do you know someone that's out there, or maybe you know an example, or maybe it might even be you that you have been in a situation where someone has come in and they were in a rush to know all your business. Why you need to know all this business of mine? I don't even know you that well. That right there is a red flag, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you right now. If someone is in a rush and they want to know all this because I want to have this, I want to have, what is your motive? What is the things you're really trying to get to? What are you really trying to get from me? Right? If you just want to have me on your arm and say that that's a warm body I can sleep in the bed with at night, or you got this and I like the way you have that, I like the way you live your life. But you got to add to what somebody has. That part of dating people don't want to understand. They have a hard time understanding that I need to put into this thing just like somebody else. And a lot of times when people have children and they get with other people that have children, or if there's some people that are single and they get with people that have children, they miss that part. They don't understand that. You know, that person's going to be a parent no matter what. No matter what, that person's going to be a parent. But you need to be open and honest and communicate that fully and have a full understanding and appreciation with that. Knowing that is very, very important. That's going to give you a deeper appreciation from that other person because you're understanding. You know that. That's going to put that and magnify certain things about the situation that you have. But with dating now, we don't have that because, like I said, we have a lot of people that are in a rush to do things so fast. No one wants to take the time to really understand people. And then when you really get involved and you really get deep into somebody, you know, that doesn't lead to certain things. Some people have dated people for years and there's nothing that comes out of it because they can say, I want to be married and I want to have this. Does it mean that they were ultimately happy with the person that they were with? No. That person was just a person at that time. You just fit the role that you were fitting at that time, and you just didn't know you was fitting that role to what I needed. Sometimes people will date people and they were fresh out of a situation. Let's pause and stop there for a second, because I think that's where a lot of people are right now. Sometimes people don't even take the time to even get over the person that they're with. Sometimes people have a lot of missed memories and a lot of old photos and a lot of old text messages in their phones and the pictures of them in their place or where they stay and all kind of other stuff just wrapped around the person that they were with. And they don't even give themselves the opportunity or the time to really fully break away from that situation. And sometimes it's very hard for them to do that. Sometimes it is. And they need to take that time to know themselves or fall in love with themselves again. Because there's nothing wrong with you falling in love with yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how in the world can you love someone else? If you don't give to yourself, you don't give yourself time and you give yourself understanding, how can you give that to someone else? I can't do that if all I want to do is just get something from someone or have something with someone or say that I have somebody. Everything is going to crumble from there because I need to know who I am. I need to know where I am, but I also need to know why I'm in this spot. If you can find a way and you can get through that, you're going to have a lasting thing that's going to be beneficial for you in the long run. But when people get together with other people, it's very hard for people to do that, especially when they don't take the time to break away from other people, because you don't know and understand your energy has been attached to another energy field. I need to break away fully from that. If I don't fully break away from that, things that this other person is going to do, it may be similar to the person that I was just with, but it doesn't mean that they're doing things in the same way. Now I have to look at it twofold. It could be something that I'm doing, or something that I'm presenting, or something that that person feels like they can do based on who I am at this point. Some people get wrapped up and say that, oh, you only around me because of what I have. That may be true. But most people don't care with what you have, because if they really care about you, you can have next to nothing. You too can have nothing at all. I'm going to tell y'all something. If you ever look around and you see, and I'm going to use this example, and I want people to get an understanding of where I'm coming from with this. If you could ever see two people that are homeless, you see two people that are homeless, and they have ultimate love for each other. And they are together, and they have nothing that's going to break them away because they have a shared oneness with this person. They're going to fight. They're going to argue. They're going to do certain things. But at its core, they care and respect for the other person with nothing hidden, nothing hidden. When you see that and you understand that, that is a pure form of love and respect and admiration with being with somebody. And that's something that people don't have, because a lot of people want to say that I got this type of car, I live in this neighborhood, I got this, I got that. You can have all that and be empty inside and not offer anything to anybody, because somebody that really looks at that don't even want to be around you at all. That's great you got that. That's great you got all this stuff. That's a hell of an accomplishment that you were able to achieve all these other things. But don't let that be the only thing that leads you to this conversation with me. Don't let that be the only thing that's going to sustain it. And all you're talking about is the things that you have. Because anything that's material can go away, can wash away. A natural disaster can take it away. Something else can take it away. Somebody can decide that they want to take it away from you. But what are you going to have with someone? It's what I pour into things. It's how I am. If I lead with a materialistic idea, or I lead with a materialistic appearance, or I lead with a materialistic approach, I ain't got nothing. Honestly, I don't have anything. I want you to like me for what I have instead of who I am, because I want to hide the flaws I have as a person. That happens a lot. And that is what that is what's led this dating pool to be a cesspool. We have a dating pool that is a cesspool right now because you have a lot of people that are hurt, a lot of people that have been in toxic relationships, a lot of people that have had real bad experiences. And as soon as they see someone that's different, they can either cling to them or they try to change them. You cannot change someone from being somebody that they are. They will either comply, compromise, or run. And when you compromise, that doesn't mean that you just say, oh, I give in. You're going to give in to whatever you want anyway. A compromise just means that this is something that I can work with. We have an understanding. That is another term that people don't understand. That's what that compromise means. I'm going to have this shared thing with this person. I need to know that this person is going to have that same thing. Because at any given time, things can change. Because we as people, we're going to change in our lives and throughout the course of the relationship. You know that you have some people that have been married for over 10 years. If you've been married for over 10 years, that's a hell of an accomplishment now and nowadays. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Hell, if you can be married more than 2 years, that's something. If you can be in a relationship with somebody that long, you need to know and understand what's going on. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, but I know at the end of the day, I'm coming home. I don't care if I got to sleep on the couch, I'm home. I don't care if I got to sleep in the other room, I'm home. We're going to talk about this because we have a level of trust, communication, and understanding with each other. But with dating, we don't have that because you had to get to somewhere to have that, to know and understand that this is what's important to me. We don't have these things. We don't have people that are aligned to that. We have people that like to dress up good and look good, and they don't have anything on the inside to give anybody because they're empty. They want their outward appearance to show what they have, and they say that that's who they are. But that's not truly who they are. They're broken individuals. If I lead with what I have, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm empty. Oh, I got this, I got that. That's great. That's nice. And I don't give a damn about that. And you know why I don't give a damn about that? Because that don't tell me who you are as a person, because anybody can get anything at any given time. Any person is available to anybody at any given time. But if I'm going to have something with you, you got to know I'm putting something into this and I'm going to expect something out of it in the end. But that doesn't mean what I put in, I'm expecting the same in return. And what I mean by that is some people look at other people what they're giving. That doesn't work all the time because I need to meet the person where they are. And with meeting the person where they are, I need to know what type of person they are, what person they is, right? Now, with me knowing and understanding the type of person that they are at this point in time in their lives is going to be important. It's also going to be important for me to have a foundational principle with them, because if I don't have a foundational principle with them, how in the world am I going to be able to withstand and be around certain people at a certain given time to know and understand that I am comfortable and safe with this person? Look on social media at any given time, and you're going to see the results or the consequence of a failed situation as a result of what I just said. Because those things are clickbait. People are run there, and let me tell you about men, or let me tell you about women. And they can be dead wrong. Because who made you a relationship expert? Who made it available for you to have the platform to say you know everything about how relationships work? Because you yourself can probably be a horrible person to be in a relationship with. Just because somebody has or is seen around being around with people doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. They're just in a dating phase because maybe they were with somebody that never wanted to go out. Maybe they were with somebody that never wanted to go on vacations. Maybe they were with somebody that didn't see life that way, because sometimes we can get entangled with people with that type of mindset. And sometimes we can be around someone that all they want to do is the do or the deed. And that ain't good either. We got to build something. We got to have something. Because if I say I really care about you and I'm investing time in you, that means I see something in you. If I ain't investing no time or no energy in you, that means this part of dating, this is what this means to me. But to you yourself, you can be like, well, I just want some of your time. I just want to feel some of your presence. I just want to be in your presence. That's fine. That's open. You're open. But I'm going to tell you myself, that may not work for me. I may not want to give you my time based on the type of person that I see you as. We need to know and understand what people's situations are, but know and understand what it is and what it is that they want. And when we don't catch that, it's hard for us to be truthful and honest in a relationship, or even truthful and honest when it comes to dating somebody. Dating has no clear definition. It has only two people that come together that has some sort of shared semblance where they will be in the same space, sharing experience together. That's it. Going to the movies, going to the park, getting ice cream, going to the bowling alley, playing pool, going for a drink, doing something. Because some people think that they just want to do certain things and have a different result based on the energy that they're giving out. But that doesn't happen at all. Some people they lack and they fail in having emotional support with other people when they date people, and that's hard too. Because not having that emotional support with people when you're with somebody will tend to let the eyes and the thoughts and everything's and the actions roam. Now, I can be an outsider and I can say that, oh, this person has the greatest relationship and how could you do this to this person? But I don't know what happened within the four walls of your home. I don't know what happened within those four doors or those two doors of your car, your vehicle, the clothes and the conversations you had with that person. I'm an outsider. I don't know that. I got to be emotionally supportive to that person that I'm with. If I don't have any emotional support for that person that I'm with, or I don't receive that, that gets that wandering I started. That gets those thoughts and those emotions passed on. Because people that are in tune with other people, they know when the end is near. They can feel it. They know. They know when people are breaking away. You start doing the things a little different. You start acting a little different. You start talking a little different. Things are not the way that they used to be because we really didn't have any foundational principle. We really didn't take the time today. I want to go out. How come we never do this? How come we never do that? I don't see you that way. That's a hard reality for some people. I don't see you that way. You may want that 100% with me because you see something with me, but I don't see you that way. You may be in that situation right now. You may know somebody in that situation, but I don't see you that way. That's honest, right? People don't want to be honest in situations. They just want, okay, well, I guess I can do that. Well, because I want to do something. I want to have something, but I need to have that healthy boundary. Those boundaries are important. Those healthy boundaries are important. This is what I want. This is what I see. This is what I'm trying to get out of. I need to have healthy boundaries no matter what type of relationship I have with anybody, whether it's dating, whether it's casual, whether it's marriage, whether it's a serious relationship. I got to have a healthy boundary. And boundaries aren't just physical. Boundaries are verbal too. People don't understand that verbal boundaries lead to a lot of things, a lot of misunderstanding, and a lot of mishaps that happens within a relationship. And that's very hard for people to take an account of because they think that they have everything that they have based on who they are. But I have to have a shared value and a shared understanding with this person. We're going to come into this thing and we're going to lay some ground rules because this thing has to work for me. If I'm finna spend some time with you and you're going to spend some time with me, we need to have this open communication in the beginning. And any time that I am on the phone boo loving with somebody for hours, how many times have you been boo loving with somebody on the phone when you first get to know them or you first trying to meet them and that conversation is never brought up? Or even if you brought that conversation up, they really don't tell you the truth about that because they want to hide something. Because sometimes the truth may make you go away from it because it might be something that I really want with you. It may be something that I really see in you that I want. But you could be the right person, but it might not be the right time for you to be around somebody. That's a hard reality for people. I can want this thing, or I can want this with this person, but I could be the right time, but that might not be the right person for me. They might present certain things with me or to me, but that might not be the right person for me right then and that time. That's why it's very important for us to take our time. That's why it's important for us to be open, trustful, and build what we have based on trust and communication. Because when I communicate fully with someone, I'm telling you my boundary. I'm telling you the limits of what this is going to go, but I'm going to tell you what type of interest I have within you. And some people that don't have that, they become pushy. I'm going to tell you personally, I don't like pushy people because I feel like you got a other motive. And if you're pushy about something, what are you really trying to get from it? What are you really trying to hide? And some people will say, well, that's something that has happened to you before. And I'll be honest, it has. Personally, it has. Personally, I've been in situations where that has happened to me. I'm not going to lie to you. But sometimes with me knowing and understanding where I am as a person, I let certain things go because every situation is not going to be the same. It may be similar But whatever I've been through, I'm going to take the time to get away from that, and I'm not going to pour in to this new relationship or this new situation something that I've dealt with somebody else, because they're two totally different people. Two totally different people. That's part of the courtship and part of the understanding. When I first talk to somebody, I'm going to tell you what a pet peeve of mine is. I'm going to remind you what that pet peeve is. But if I have to continue to tell you what that pet peeve is, we're going to have a problem. And when we have a problem, we have issues. And then when we have issues, there's only two things we can do. We can sit there and deal with them, or we can let it go and be free. Right? Very, very important. I have to share my goals with people when I'm dating. I have to know and understand what their goals are, but it has to align together with what we have. Right? Trust and support is very important. The relationship dynamic is important too, based on who you're dating, how they're dating. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Age factors into that too. Remember that song a long time ago that R. Kelly wrote for Aaliyah, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number? Yeah. Think about that. Sometimes people will look at certain people's age and put that as a bad thing. But sometimes that can be beneficial for people. Nowadays that happens a lot. And sometimes when that happens, it goes to a certain part where people are doing certain things and it makes it easy for them. But with making things easy for them, it helps them to know and understand that I know who I have. I know what's expected. If me expecting certain things in this relationship, this is very, very important. Because my expectations have to be known and understand, but they have to be validated by the other person. If they're not validated by the other person, red flag gotta go. We through with this. Okay, I can't talk to you. We can't continue with what I'm doing. Okay, can't do what we're doing right now because I know what's going to happen at the end. And if I'm doing something right now and it doesn't benefit me in the long run, what you doing it for? Why are you doing it? You're doing it just to say you're doing it, or you're doing it because it feels good right at that time? Got to have a healthy relationship, because a healthy relationship is very important, right? It involves a lot of honesty. It involves respect and that open communication. I'm going to continue to say that. Trust, communication, and being honest is very important at any phase of knowing and understanding and dating somebody. Because ultimately, when you really want to have something with someone, that's what your foundational principles are. Your trust, your honesty, your communication. Because dating is going to mean different things to different people. Dating also means that I have some things with somebody that I might not have with somebody else. Because some people are exclusive to say that I have certain things with certain people, and I'm only going to have it with this person. But when you have the downside of that is the other end of dating, which I'm gonna talk about that in another show. So when you first get to know someone and you first get to be with them, everything is great, everything is beautiful, everything is grand. I have this person, we go on these dates, we go on these vacations, we go on these trips, all this other stuff. It is a big, big, big ball, because dating is just not one particular thing. It won't be comprising just this show, because I'm going to do multiple, but it's going to be something that people need to understand, build, and grow from. I'm going to leave you with this last final thought for today's show. When you date someone, they have to have and know your interests. You have to have and know what it is that you want and they want. But with me knowing and understanding where someone is and where they want to be is most important, especially when we talk about the courtship and me being emotionally available to people, or knowing and having certain things, or knowing if this person is pushy, or being open and honest with these red flags that may happen in the beginning, or having some sort of casual dating relationship, because sometimes people just want what they want and they see certain things, but some people don't want to have and put in the time that it takes to have things be the way that they need to be. That's going to be the show for today. Join me in a couple weeks when I'm going to have part 2 of dating, because this is only part one. As always, this is AP for the Black Male Podcast. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.